Hello, wonderful people of Lighthouse Opera. This is Daniel Klein. I have performed in 3 different operas with the Lighthouse Opera Company. I am here in my lovely apartment in Astoria, New York. I thought that would be a nice background for today. Um, so I will actually talk about how I ended up getting involved with Lighthouse Opera Company. Dr. Banks had seen me in a production of Fidelio with Heartbeat Opera. After that production, they were having auditions for this, but I was ill, most likely because that show took a lot out of me, and so I wasn't able to come audition, but I was interested in it because Susanna was an opera that I really wanted to do. I had worked with the conductor before, and so despite the fact that I was not there on my performance that he had seen, Dr. Banks offered me the role of Olin Blitch. This is a really good experience and good memory for a singer, because this is a very difficult business, and it's very hard sometimes for people to see beyond their nose. And I mean, there are stories I know of people coming in and doing auditions in wigs for Carmen, so that they look like, look, I'm a brunette, I'm not a blonde or a redhead or something, I can do Carmen. And so the fact that he could see me in this role, doing something that was, should we say, very different, and it was really, that vote of confidence, if you will, was an incredibly positive experience for me. So I'm going to tell you about my first audition after Olin Blitch. This was for the Little Opera Theater of New York, and they were doing a piece by the name of Owen Wingrave by Benjamin Britten. Amazing piece of opera and theater. That's a whole other discussion. But at that audition, I had to bring Priest in English, and I had just done this piece, and so I came in with 3 different excerpts from Olin Blitch, and neither the conductor or the director had been able to come see the production. Both of them had reached out and said they wanted to, and I sang the revival scene, and their remarks afterwards were that they had wished they had seen it now because they enjoyed it so much. And my work with Maestro Tedeschi on the characterization and how that, the character itself really informed a lot of that. And so I ended up doing 2 excerpts that day for them, and they offered me the role the next day. So that was a great experience that I had that was really informed by my work with Lighthouse. The other thing that I would have to say is that one of the things that I really appreciated about Lighthouse Opera, having been in a production like the Fidelio with Heartbeat Opera, which was, I was basically the token white man in an all-black cast, and it's been known as the Black Lives Matter Fidelio. It's a very true thing that there's inequity in this career, in this business, about people of, shall we say, non-white persuasion being represented, and the fact that Lighthouse Opera is a very inclusive company, and every production I've been in so far has been across the spectrum of races, heights, weights, sizes, everything. It seems to be really based on the people and their voices, and as opposed to trying to look at just the color of their skin, which is something that I really appreciate. So back in March, my sister-in-law worked for NIH, and when we first started hearing about this, she said, take it seriously. My daughter had been born in January, and actually one of the main news stories that day was about this Chinese coronavirus. And I had a production that was supposed to be going to China in December of 2019, but was postponed to March 2020. I don't know the exact reasons why this was originally postponed, but obviously with everything that happened in coronavirus, that was canceled. It was a devastating year. With the new baby, I had probably one of the best years planned career-wise, singing-wise, of my life, and some wonderful opportunities had come up through my work over the last several years, and in a matter of weeks, they all disappeared. It did give me an amazing experience to spend time with my daughter and to be home with my wife during this insane period, but it's a devastating thing. Of course, on a career level, you're dealing with the fact that we don't know when and if music is going to happen live. But just as, you know, singing is something more than just a career, it's a vocation, and it's something that is in your soul and that you need to do. And, you know, it's now going on 5-6 months that I haven't been able to make music with another person live. And that's agonizing, you know, even if it's, you know, not at the biggest venue at the biggest place, to not be able to do that and to have that fear of that involved is just, it's almost overwhelming. And it's, you know, here in New York, so many people have gone back to work or gone back to work remotely, and we don't really have that option in the same way. We've managed some things to sort of work around, and we're still exploring it, but it's, you know, art form that is several hundred years old and based in live performance. It doesn't always translate. So in March, all of my contracts for the spring and got moved to the fall. My fall productions got moved to the next spring. Then there was sort of silence for a couple of months, and then everything got moved again, and the things that were in the fall were talked about next spring, 21. And right now I have one tentative thing for 2021, and everything else is not happening. Practice, I would say, it comes in waves, much like our mood during, you know, quarantine. I have been taking voice lessons. I've done a couple of concerts virtually, but nothing of great, I shouldn't say, nothing huge. Maybe 2 or 3. It's, you know, how do I put that? Finding the way to create music that's not to a track is a really complicated thing. And to make music with a track is not the same thing as making music with an orchestra or a pianist or a conductor. And so that experience of the collaboration is really missing. As I said, I am still taking, you know, I'm practicing not as regularly as I'd like to be. Part of that is having a newborn. Part of that is time and energy and, you know, my wife's schedule. She's working from home. And part of that is just, it's hard to find the motivation when, you know, all the things that you had been practicing for work slowly disappear. It was, you know, I had my sort of stack of music in December of this is what I have to get done. And slowly that stack started getting shorter and shorter and shorter until it became nothing. So right now I'm actually working on a project where I'm trying to put together a recital or concert of art song and some music that way, and my cat's about to come join us, so watch out for him. Oh, he's going on the other side. He's going to be the cameraman. Here he is. Oh, we will have the cat. This is Finzi, named after Gerald Finzi. I'm trying to be optimistic but also pragmatic. I think that there's going to be some level of filmmaking involved. I use filmmaking loosely because we use this proscenium, this 4 walls that we have of the recorded message, you know, whether that be through Zoom or through TikTok or Instagram or some other thing that I don't even know about yet. But I think that there's going to be a level of video and technology integration and the future of music making that I haven't quite figured out yet. So I think this is a time when companies, if they can figure out a way to make a performance happen, a live performance happen, they need to. They need to take precautions. They need to go in the red as much as possible. I was reading the news, like I do, and it said that 27% of people under the age of 30 contemplated suicide in the last 3 months. Seriously contemplated it. And 11% of all Americans contemplated it. And it makes me horrified to think that this is the time when all the arts institutions are cutting back. Because they have to, because people are not donating, because the government is abandoning them. Schools are cutting music and art programs left and right, and it's horrifying to me. So I think that if anything, right now, this is the time that companies should be lavish in their expenditures, in their reach. You know, we need to start with what we have. So if that means you start with your piano or your keyboard or your pre-recorded track and your cell phone making a video, and we build something from there, great. I think that while COVID is a real threat, it's going to be hard to get audiences to feel comfortable and for artists to feel comfortable. Whether or not it is a real threat is actually not even the issue. It's about people's comfort. Because if singers are there and they're worried that they're going to die, they're not going to do a good job, even if they need the money. And if audiences think they're going to die or maybe get sick by going, they're not going to go. You know, it's a dire, dire situation. And I think that right now we should, as Americans, as opera companies, as institutions, should be spending lavishly on the arts, on encouraging the arts, and should be creating more and more and be throwing money at artists like myself as much as possible. Because I will tell you this, I would much rather be making something than sitting at home not.
It's alone.